Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Sweater Side. This is Amberlee, and today I'm going to show you a few fun techniques with a heat gun. This is the particular one that I have. Oh, con mom. Yes, I am con mom for our local anime convention, so this got used there this year. But this is just the Darice heat tool. There's a Ranger one that's nice and quiet, but this one was inexpensive and it's really easy to use. So I have gesso all over my thumb. There we go. See, you don't have to be perfect. Okay, I'm just putting this layer of gesso, extra gesso down here, and I want it to be wet. A friend of mine, Heidi, hi Heidi, she wanted to know some cool things that you could do with heat tool gun things. So I'm gonna show you this one. I love to do this. This is, you can turn this on and it will make your paint, you gotta leave your paint wet, but it will bubble up. So I'm gonna fast forward this part so you don't have to listen to my loud heat tool. Okay, this doesn't show it really well, but you can kind of see a texture starting to form. The thicker the paint is, the more bubbles you will get. So if you put on a super thick layer of paint, it's gonna really bubble and pockmark and look really, really cool. And you can feel there's the texture. Oh, that feels really cool. Another thing I like to use is spray paint. You can use multiple colors of spray paint on a canvas or on recycled items like this, and then I put black over the top, and then I can use this and melt it, and it turns into some really neat textures and colors, and the paint bubbles up, and it's really, really neat. So that is one thing that you can do with a heat tool and just plain gesso. Now another thing I like to do with the gesso and the heat tool is using embossing powder. Any place that it's wet, you can sprinkle embossing powder or UT, which is the ultra thick embossing powder. I've put a little spray paint on this and you can see the texture really well now, but I'm going to show you again the heat tool and what it can do. You can really see that bubbling, see? The more layers you have, the better it's going to be, but this just gives you kind of an idea of how it's starting. That's just another thing you can do. See, if I give a little gesso over the top, you can see the texture a little better. All right. And like I said, you can build up your layers of paint and then spray paint or make it bubble. You can add embossing powder to it. You can add UT, which is ultra thick embossing powder, and I will show you some of that in a moment. Now I'm going to show you how to use embossing powders with your heat gun. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can use perfect medium or embossing ink of some sort like Versamark or Emboss It. Those work well. Another thing you can do is put down a layer of paint, sprinkle your embossing powder over the paint, and do it that way. So I'm going to show you those ways with a couple different things. The first thing is, this is the ultra thick embossing powder. This is the clear version. I also have gold, bronze, black. So it comes in a variety of colors. It's thicker than a regular embossing powder that you would use for a stamped image on a card. So this is a little bit thicker. This is also thicker. This is from Frontage Stampendous Aged Hunter Embossing Enamel. And I'm going to open this up and see if I can show you here. This is embossing powder mixed with mica powder mixed with more embossing powder. So you can see the green, you can see the gold and the bronze. It's really cool. there are so many fun things you can do with this stuff. It's great. And a little goes a long way, and I'll show you in a second. In fact, let me grab my scrap piece of paper. I like to have a scrap piece of paper when I emboss stuff because I can dump the excess onto it and put it back in the bin. And that way you're saving, which is always a good thing. Now, this is the side that we've textured, so I'm going to flip it to this side for now. And let's say you just want to do a little area. I'm just going to put some of this on here. Make sure it's, yeah, it's still. Just kind of squish it down. So this is one of the ways you can do it. I'm going to use this so you can see it, because I don't think you'll see the clear unless I do it over something. See how pretty that is? This is really nice for Christmassy things, woodsy things, fairies. See, it sticks automatically because of that ink. So now I'm just going to take this and put it right back in the container. Like I said, I've had this forever. It went on clearance at Pac-Tan's. It was usually $5 or $6 a jar, and I got it for a couple bucks and said, yep, that's mine. Got a bunch of different colors. I absolutely love it. All right, so now we're going to warm up the heat tool. I would suggest warming up the tool a little bit before you use it here. You will immediately see the changes when it's hot, and you can make it bubble more like I was doing with the glue on the other side. So, or the paint on the other side, I should say. So let's try that. I'm gonna just kind of warm it up a little. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to change. Alright, so let me show you. That's how it would look normally. And you can see the difference between this section, ow, as I burn myself. You can see the difference between this section and the section I haven't touched yet. So let's continue. I'm gonna speed it up so you don't have to listen to it. Okay. You can see what it looks like right now. If I want it to bubble more, I can heat it longer. You just have to be careful because you don't want it to completely melt away. Another neat thing about this particular embossing powder is if that is not thick enough and you want thicker spaces, you warm it up, sprinkle the powder where you want it, heat it again. And you can do that as much as you want. Let me see if I can heat an area so that it bubbles. Now you can see it actually starts moving away. I'm sorry for the noise of the machine, but otherwise you're not going to be able to hear me speaking. But you can see, you can make drips with this by holding it up. But you have to be careful because you don't want this to start burning your project. Another thing that you can heat and make look kind of cool, because we're talking about bubbling things up, right? This one you also have to be careful with because you can completely melt the glitter, so you don't want to do that. Ooh, this color is so pretty. I'm just going to kind of leave it a little thick there. I don't know if you could tell that it spread a little and it melted and everything, but that's stickles. Okay. I was trying to think of other things that we could do for you with the heat gun. I know there's a lot because I use my heat gun for all sorts of things. I've used it to melt crayons. I've used it for. I was trying to find my box of crayons. Oh, here it is, right here. So I'm gonna I'm going to show you, I know, brand new box of crayons, but I want to try this out for you. Alright, here we go. Ready? Let's see if I can make it drip a little bit. Only problem is that it can get too hot and then you're going to be burning your box before you melt your wax. The thing I like about crayon wax is that it leaves a nice feel to the finish. But yeah, so yes, you can melt crayon wax. Beeswax does really well. Another thing I love to use my heat tool for is shrinky dinks. You don't have to heat up your oven or your toaster oven and get it all hot. You can do your shrinky dinks right here. What I usually do is make sure that I have my pokey tool or a pair of scissors like this. This has a coating on it to keep things from sticking, and I just hold it down like this and use my heat tool with the other hand and melt it into a shrinky dink. So that is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you go out and get yourself a heat tool, let me know. Please subscribe and like, and find me on Facebook. Ask me questions, ask me to demo more things. I'm more than happy to help you out. I'm hoping next week I'll be able to do some more flowers on video for you, as well as some new projects that I've been working on. Have a great day and keep on crafting.